Toddler Time.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan with the New Children's Museum, and I work here in exhibitions with the artists who create these amazing art installations like the one that I'm sitting in right now by Tanya Aguanica. A lot of what I do here at the museum is to create the conditions for children to play. It's not directed, it's not as much an activity as it is about creating a space where really magical things can happen and you can interact with your child and your child can interact with others in ways that they might not be able to do at home. However, many of us are spending quite a bit of time at home right now. So I'd like to share some ways to translate some of the things that we might do during toddler time for home. What I'd like to share with you today is the idea of a stuffed animal petting zoo. You probably have stuffies at home or action figures, or even if you have something that isn't necessarily animal shaped, you can pretend that it is. In your house, think about what you have and set it up for your child. After they go to bed, when they finally go to bed, think about a space where you might set up a variety of animals. Now you might want to group them according to type. So you might want to have an area with fish, or you might want to have an area that's by color. So things that are white. You should remember, as you set this up, don't be so focused on your child going through and doing it as a petting zoo, because then it becomes more about your play than theirs. What I would suggest to you is set it up and offer what we call a play bow. This is just a couple words, couple sentences that might set the tone. So I might say, "Hey, it looks like they set up a petting zoo last night. Do you want to go take a look with me?" And then we would walk from place to place and pet. Now, another thing that you might think about doing is introducing what we call two-finger touching. Many toddlers might grab for stuffed animals or real animals with both hands, because grasping is such a big part of being a little person. It's how we're learning about the world. Now, in a petting zoo, you might even practice with stuffed animals two-finger touching. So just demonstrate. This one, let's be very gentle with this one. Let's take 2 fingers, which isn't necessarily very easy, by the way, for little ones to do. This is not an easy gesture for very small children, but try to get them to put their fingers together and then very gently pet the animal. If you have animals around the house, you may have already explored this. Please, two-finger touching with mittens. She doesn't like it when you grab her like this, but two-finger touching. So you might want to go around from space to space in your petting zoo. Again, follow the lead of your child. There might be some things that you want to point out. Look, all these things have something in common. If your child is a little bit older and is learning his or her colors, you might want to point out, what do you think all these, what makes all these things alike? But again, if it turns into something different, if it turns into a stuffed animal dance party, if it turns into even piling them all together and jumping into them like a pile of leaves, just follow the lead of your child. Now, the other things, you may be looking for something that will occupy your child so you can do something else. We all have a lot on our plates these days. And so setting it up, you might want to even let them set up. So you set it up with a few. You might want to take some things around the house like couch cushions or even a blanket to create a little corral for different animals. And you just kind of walk off and say, I wonder if we could make some spaces for the other animals to have a special home. and see what happens.
Your child might look at these two sharks in this blanket and say, wait a second, they need to be in a tank. They need water. And so you can say, that's a great idea. What do you think we should use? And then you can go find something like this, some kind of plastic bin, and you can pretend like they are swimming around in the water. You might find that this is really fun, and you start to create creative pins that have an element of surprise. Like this little guy. At some point you might want to say, or your toddler might even say, I wonder if they're hungry. Should we give them some food to eat? And be creative about this too. You could take out a spoon and you could feed them with a spoon, or you could say, hey, what kind of pretend food should we give these animals? Should they have different food? Should the fish have different food than our fun, funky chicken over here? Or what? What should we do?
Again, it's about setting up some interesting conditions and then following where your child goes. I hope this is helpful, and for more activities, please be sure to check out the New Children's Museum Think, Play, Create from Home. On our website, we have lots of suggestions for things you can do with your little ones while we are at home. Thanks, everyone.